I stared at her like she was some kind of alien life form, while my mind digested what she'd said to me over dinner. She waited until the freshly baked apple pie was cut, and then she stunned me. There is no easy way for me to do this, so I'll get right down to business. The kids are gone. I've been a damn good wife, mother, and homemaker for the last 24 years. I put you, the kids, and the house first and decided it was time to do something for myself. I'm 45 and I'm still reasonably attractive. I need to do it while I still have the goods. I love you, and you know it. But this is something I've wanted to do for almost 15 years now, and I've resigned myself to the fact that you won't join me and be a part of it. I hate to see 24 good years go to waste, but if you want a divorce over this, I'll just have to live with it. I have a date Friday night, so unless you want to heat up leftovers for dinner, you'll have to eat out. I just sat there looking at her until she said, "Say something, Rob." I shrugged and said, "Good luck." "Good luck? What do you mean by that?" "Good luck in your new life, and since you're no longer in mine, I don't want you in my bedroom. So get out, tonight. We can share a house until it's sold. I'll call the realtor in the morning and start the process. But I'm warning you that even though we'll be living in the same house, you'd better never bring your lovers here or I might kill you both." "Sell the house? I don't want to sell the house. I love this place." "Then you'll have to find the money to buy me out. In a divorce, the property will be divided, and that means the house will be sold. We only have 2 years left before it's paid off, and our equity is about $280,000, so you'll need to raise $140,000. You can think about where to get the money as you leave the bedroom. I suggest you start right now, as I want to go to bed early. I'm going to have a busy day tomorrow. I'll talk to a realtor, hire a lawyer, and do whatever else needs to be done." "Why are you in such a hurry to do this?" "Why not? You just ended our marriage, so I don't see the need to beat around the bush. Just get on with it and do it." "But I haven't even done it yet." "It doesn't matter. The right-in-your-face attitude you just demonstrated by telling me what you're going to do told me what you think of me. Whether you sleep with your beau on Friday or not, we're still breaking up. You'd best start moving your stuff. Anything left of your stuff in the room when I go to bed will be thrown out the bedroom window. We need to discuss this, Rob." "No, there's nothing to discuss. You're a lying bitch, and I don't want anything more to do with you." "I'm not a cheater." "Yes, you are, Amanda. You just told me you had a date for Friday night. Not that you were looking for him, but that you already have one. That means you were meeting and talking to another man with the intention of arranging a sexual encounter, which in my mind is the same as cheating. Now get out of my sight and start cleaning up your shit." I got up from the table and headed for my man cave, which was simultaneously our garage. While working on my latest project, a 1965 Pontiac Catalina convertible, I remembered when this nonsense started. It was about 15 years ago, all because of who I was and what I did before I got married. In high school, I was a real troublemaker. Pauline French took my virginity on my 18th birthday, and I loved it. So much so that I spent a lot of time looking for more and ended up sleeping with several members of the opposite sex. Well, to be fair, there were more than a few. I was a typical fuck 'em and dump 'em type asshole until I got to college and a couple girls took it upon themselves to cure me of my bad habits. I screwed and dumped them both, and they got together and had a crusade to make sure it didn't happen with other girls. If they saw me with a girl, they immediately went over and told her about me. By my senior year, word of this spread and I couldn't get a date to save my life. During my first year of senior year, I met Amanda Martin and fell head over heels in love with her. She wanted nothing to do with me. "I was told what kind of guy you are, and I know what you want, and it's not going to happen." I kept trying until one day she said, "Should I call the police on you and file a complaint? As far as I'm concerned, you're stalking me. Do I need to get a restraining order against you? Leave me alone for the last time. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm not going to be another notch on your bedpost." I got the message and finally realized what my attitude towards girls had cost me. For the rest of my senior year, I didn't go on any dates and was torn apart every time I saw Amanda. Graduation came and I went to work for Athena Group in their marketing department. It's not bragging to say that I was a good-looking guy and in pretty decent shape, and I caught the eye of several single girls who worked in my department. Truth be told, a couple of married ones showed interest, too. None of them knew my reputation, so you could say it was a rich environment for someone like me. but somewhere along the way a funny thing happened. I didn't use it to my advantage. I guess the easiest way to explain it would be to say that I had grown up, and when I was in my senior year of high school, I realized that I was never going to have a serious relationship with a girl like Amanda unless I changed my habits. God knows I really wanted that relationship with Amanda. A year went by, and although I went on dates a lot, I was largely on my best behavior. I did get into a friends with benefits relationship with a girl, and it lasted about 6 months and ended when she took a job in another state. Even though I dated a lot, I had never met a girl who made me feel the way Amanda did, and that feeling was my baseline. My baseline, and what I was looking for. Honestly, I was starting to feel like I'd never find that. After working late one night, I stopped by the Purple Onion on my way home from work. I was a regular there, and by the time I sank down on a bar stool, Susie behind the bar had already put my vodka tonic on the counter. I had been there for probably half an hour when I heard a noise behind me. I heard a woman say, "Let me go," and a man's voice said, "No way in hell you're gonna stand me up, lady. Dinner, drinks, a show, and you've been teasing me all night, so there's no way you're getting away with just saying goodnight to me. Let go of me, asshole." No way, bitch. I'm gonna get you tonight. I'm usually a guy who mind my own business, but this asshole acting like this and saying shit like this out loud and in public just pisses me off. I got up, walked over to him, and told him to get his ass out of the bar. "Who's going to make me? You?" "I bet your ass." "Fuck you," he said, and came at me. I blocked the punch and hit him hard. He staggered and I hit him twice more, grabbed him, turned him around, pinned his arm, and led him out the door into the parking lot. The door didn't have a handle. It was kind of a push bar, and I pressed his body right against the push bar to open the door. His body hit the bar at the same moment he hit his face on the door, and blood came out of his nose. I walked him straight to the dumpster and then picked him up, saying, "You go with the rest of the trash," and threw him in the dumpster as I said, "If you're smart, you're not going back to the bar." I didn't go back either because my good mood was gone. I went home to my apartment, took a shower, and went to bed. It was 3 days before I stopped by the Onion again. And, as usual, Susie had my vodka tonic on the counter as I walked over to a bar stool. She walked over to the cash register and then came back and handed me an envelope. "What's this?" I asked. "When you took that asshole out of here last time, you left your money lying on the bar counter. You tip well, but not that well, so I'm putting it in the register for you." I took the envelope and put it in my pocket without looking in it. I pulled out my wallet and tossed a 20 on the bar for a drink. Susie slipped it back to me and said, "Your money is no good here tonight." "Why not?" "The lady you saved last night told me to call her and let her know when you'd be back again. I have to buy you a drink on her tab to keep you here until she gets here." "You're kidding me." "Not in the slightest. The lady wants to thank you personally." I was finishing my third vodka tonic when Susie placed a glass of white wine in front of the stool to my right, and before I could ask her what it was for, someone sat down on the stool. I looked over and my jaw dropped as Amanda Martin smiled at me and said, "Hi, Rob. It's been a while." I was so stunned to see her that I couldn't find the words. "What's the matter, Rob? You've never been a silent man." "I'm just surprised to see you after all these years. And it could have been 3 days earlier if you'd come back after you escorted Dirk out of here last night." "Did he make a pass at you?" "He was. Unfortunately, he was another one of my many mistakes. I guess I'm incapable of picking a good man." I had no idea what I could say to that, so I let it pass and asked her how she was doing, and then about what she'd been up to since she graduated. We talked for a bit, and then I asked her if she had eaten yet, but she hadn't, so I asked if she wanted to join me for dinner. By the time dessert and coffee were served, I had a date for the next night, and that date led to many others. And 6 months later, I asked Amanda to marry me, and she said yes. Amanda lay in our marriage bed a virgin, a fact that was to have a major impact on our lives in the future. A year after our wedding, Jason William joined us, and a year and a half later, Amber Marie became a member of our family. We had been married for 5 years when Amanda struck me with one of the questions that are known to strike fear into a husband's heart. "You know I love you, right?" "Of course I do." "And you know I would never do anything to hurt our marriage, right?" "Don't go around Amanda." Lay it on me. Yep. You know that I came into our marriage a virgin, right? Get to the point, Amanda. You had so many experiences before we became a couple, so I know you had a wide range of experiences. I always wondered what I was missing by remaining chaste until my wedding. I just sat there and stared at her in silence as she continued. Do you remember Sally Stiles? I remembered. She was one of the girls Amanda had socialized with in college, and I knew they kept in touch. I nodded in agreement. Well, Sally and I talk a lot, and she told me about her sex life with her husband, Ralph. I confessed that you were the only man I ever had sex with, and admitted that I was curious about what I was missing out on by staying a virgin. So, what's this all about, Amanda? I don't know how to say this, Rob. Say what? I'm afraid you'll take it the wrong way. Take what wrong? I'd like to meet another man. You've got to be kidding me. Just hear me out, Rob. I love you, and I'm perfectly happy with you and our marriage. I just want to see what sex with someone else is like. No love or affection, just the physical act is all I want to experience, and I don't need to go out and try to pick someone up at random. Sally and Ralph belong to a swingers group, and she said she and Ralph would recommend us. All members are tested every 2 weeks, so it's safe. We'd do it together. It would give you a chance for a little variety and allow me to satisfy my curiosity. You must be out of your mind if you think I'd agree to something like that. It was a good time to satisfy your curiosity before you got married, not during it. My answer is to tell you to stop talking to Sally and letting her fill your head with garbage. All I wanted to do was... No, not just no, but a bloody no. Just drop it, Amanda. I don't want to hear any more about it. For the next couple days, the house was a little chilly, and then it was back to normal. But when I told Amanda I didn't want to hear any more about it, it apparently didn't get through to her. She brought it up a couple times over the next few years, and always when we were drinking and partying at parties. Typical was the evening of her 38th birthday. I took her out to dinner, and then we went out drinking and dancing. A few drinks and dancing until late into the night. And when I felt in love and started fondling her on the dance floor, she pointed to a couple and said, "She is certainly sexy. Wouldn't you like to try her?" She was definitely a sexy-looking lady, and if I was single, I would definitely be interested. And then Amanda said, "And he's not that bad either. Maybe we could meet up with them." I knew she was fishing again, so I just said, "No need. I already have the one I want for tonight." This has happened 3 or more times over the years, and while I can't prove it, I know that at least some of them weren't accidental. I discovered this one evening when Sally and Ralph came in and sat next to a couple that Amanda was trying to get me interested in. I had not the slightest doubt that they were swinger friends of Sally and Ralph, and that Amanda knew who they were and was hoping I would take the bait. The only thing I took away from the evening was the thought that I needed to watch Amanda more closely. She was still friends with Sally, and Sally had to introduce her to the couple to know who they were. And if she was socializing with swingers like this, what else could she be doing? Every once in a while, she'd stop by for a drink with the people she worked with, and every now and then she'd have a bachelorette party. I really didn't think she was cheating on me yet, because everything I'd heard about swinging groups said they didn't accept singles. I didn't think Amanda would pick up some guy to go out with as a couple. I mean, why would she do that? If she hooked up with a guy, she wouldn't have to go to a swingers group to get the experience she wanted, would she? This all happened on the day of Amanda's 39th birthday. I asked her what she would like to receive as a birthday present, and she said, "I want you to let me sleep with another man, just once. I only want to try it once, and I'll never ask for it again." I'll tell you what I'll do, Amanda. On your birthday, I'm going to meet with a lawyer, fill out the paperwork, and file it for you. Once we're divorced, you can sleep with all the other men you want and get the full experience. That's the last time I want to hear that shit. Let me be perfectly clear. The only way you can have fun with another man without me throwing you out with the trash is if we get divorced or I die. Remember that well in your head. I'll even go one step further to make it as clear as possible. If you ever bring me to this shit again, I will divorce your ass and let you go have all the fun you want. I believed I had finally gotten through to her because she never brought it up again. Until the night she told me she was going to do it, whether I liked it or not. The next morning, I actually met with a realtor and an attorney. It would be a 50-50 meat cut and dried in half. Amanda made as much money as I did, so there was no child support, and the kids were grown and gone. Perhaps the only thing we would have to fight about would be who took what out of the house. I don't believe Amanda knew what she had set in motion until she came home from work Wednesday night and found the for sale ad on the pole in our front yard. And it really got to her when she was handed the divorce papers at work on Thursday. She was furious. She was absolutely furious when she came home Thursday night and lashed out at me for notifying her in front of her co-workers. "Quite appropriate," I said. "What the hell do you mean by that?" "I can pretty much account for your time, so if you were talking about dating a man, I assume you must have been doing it at work. So it seems appropriate to me that since the breakdown of our marriage started at your workplace, that's where you should be notified." "Nothing started at work?" "It doesn't matter. What needed to be done was done, and as far as I'm concerned, now that you've been notified, you can go and sleep with other guys all you want." I stood up, put on my coat, and headed for the door. "Where are you going?" "To the bar. I'm going to have a few beers, play some pool, and start my new life as a bachelor." "We need to talk, Rob." "No, we don't, Amanda. You said all you needed to say when you looked me straight in the eye and told me that you were going to intentionally cheat on me and that if I didn't like it, I could file for divorce." "Well, Amanda, I didn't like it, so I filed for divorce." I left the house and headed to Bud's bar. I drank beer and played pool until 11:30 and then headed home. Amanda was already in bed, and she was still in her room when I left for work in the morning, so I didn't know if she was dressed for a date or if she had brought a change of clothes to work with her. After work, I stopped by the Village Inn for dinner, and when I got home at 7, I was surprised to see Amanda's car in the garage. I assumed she must have come home and changed her clothes after work and that her beau had picked her up here at home. The guy must have balls the size of basketballs if he could do that, knowing I could be there. With that thought, I walked into the house and found Amanda sitting at the kitchen table with a glass of wine in her hands. There was no lack of sarcasm in my voice when I said, "Date's over, all set. Was he that worthless?" "Fuck you, Rob. There was no date. There was never a date. I made the whole thing up." "You did? That's great. Like I'm going to believe it." "I've wanted to do this forever, Rob, and I felt that if it was going to happen, it had to be done while I still kept my looks. Sally told me that I should just tell you that I was going to do it, and that you wouldn't want to lose me, so you'd go along with it. I told you a long time ago to stay away from that stupid bitch, but oh no, you couldn't listen to me and listen to her instead. How do you do that?" "It's not funny, Rob. This is out of control. You need to call your realtor and get the house off the market. Call your lawyer and stop this divorce nonsense." "Why would I want to do that? I just told you there was no date. The whole thing was a bluff to try to get you to agree with me on what I wanted." "There's a little problem with that, Amanda." "What?" "I don't want to believe you. My guess is that you didn't expect me to take a hard stance, and when I did, it shocked you, and now you're trying to minimize the damage. You probably called your beau and excused yourself, and now you're trying to save your marriage. I'm not buying it. You might as well call your beau back and tell him it's okay after all. Before you go, make sure your room is cleaned up. Just in case you're not home by 9 in the morning. At 10 o'clock, a couple will come over to look at the house. Good night. Have fun on your date. I really hope it was worth what it cost you." She started crying as I left the room, and there was once a time when it would have made me want to rush to her and put her in my arms and comfort her. But that was before. As I climbed into bed, I really wondered if Amanda was telling the truth. It was possible, but I couldn't be sure, and that was killer. The fact that I couldn't be sure. Then a thought popped into my head. It was a little over the top, but it could work. It was a risky move, but it wouldn't cost me anything to try. I stood up and pulled out my cell phone. Since Amanda was spending so much time with Sally, I had Sally on speed dial in case I needed to contact Amanda. I called Sally, and when she answered, I told her I needed a big favor. "Can you text Amanda without blowing off her date?" "She canceled the date. She should be home talking to you." "Oh, I'm not home yet. Then I guess I better hurry up." I passed out and went to bed. So much for Amanda's story that it was all a bluff. In the morning, I made my bed and cleaned up my room. When I got to the kitchen, Amanda was there, and it didn't look like she had a good night. She had actually made coffee, so I poured myself a cup. Is everything okay in your room? I asked.
Yeah.
You're not really going to sell the house, are you? Of course I am. I don't want a divorce, Rob. Please. This whole thing was a big mistake. I don't want a divorce. That's what you don't want, Amanda. What about what I don't want? I told you over and over that I wasn't going to share you with another guy, and I told you countless times that I didn't want to hear any more of that crap. Did I get what I wanted, Amanda? No, I didn't get it. You keep bringing it up, even though I keep telling you I don't want to hear it. There's no reason to give you what you want when I can't get what I want myself. I won't do it anymore, Rob. I promise I won't do it again. You probably won't, but that won't stop you from wanting to do it. And I believe that with the thought in your mind that you need to do it while, as you put it, you still have the goods. You're still going to talk to Sally and listen to her stories about how great it is to meet sex with different men, and you're going to do it. You're going to decide that since you can't make me go with you, you're going to do it without telling me. I'm going to catch you, and then I'm going to go to jail for what I'm going to do to the guy you cheated with. When I get out of jail, I will divorce you for being unfaithful. Since the divorce is going to happen anyway, it would be better if I do it now because of irreconcilable differences and not go to jail. I would never do that to you. Yes, I do want to do it, but only if it's okay with you. That's why I keep bringing it up. I figure once you realize that I really, really want to do it, you'll let me. That's stupid thinking on your part, Amanda. Have I ever, even once in the last 15 years, given any sign of softening my attitude? I have not. It will never happen with my approval, and I believe you will realize that, and when you do, you will go ahead and do it, thinking it will only be a one-time thing, and you can hide it from me. The problem is, you won't be able to do that. I know you too well, Amanda, and I can tell when you're trying to force something on me. For example, you told me the date story was a bluff, and I could tell you were lying. You really did have a date. You thought that once you gave me your ultimatum, I would accept it because you knew I loved you and wouldn't want to let you go. I surprised you when I said okay and I'll file for divorce. Suddenly you realized you were wrong in your assumptions and that I was going to let you go. So you canceled your date and started repairing the damage. Deny it all you want, Amanda, but you can't fucking lie. I could tell you were lying through your teeth when you told me the date story was a bluff. You did have a date. I know that, and I'm tired of this shit, so I'm letting you get what you want, but there's a price for letting you do it, and that price is divorce. As far as I'm concerned, now that you've been notified, you're free to do whatever you want. Have all the other men you want, Amanda, because your marriage to me is over. So is your room ready for viewing? No, it's not, and it's not happening. I'm taking time off work, and the kitchen isn't going to look so great either. I'm going to bake a lot of baked goods today, and you know what a mess that can turn out to be. Plus, I'll walk through all the rooms with them and point out any imperfections. I might even mention that we haven't gotten the roach problem under control yet. I guess I can't stop you from doing that. But if you do it knowing what it will cost you. And what would that be? I'd move out. I'd stop making payments on the house and stop paying utilities. Eventually, the house would be foreclosed and we would lose the house and your portion of what we could have gotten on the sale. The other option is that you extinguish the house payments and pay for light, gas, water, and phone. Frankly, I don't believe you can do that on your paycheck alone, but it's something you'll have to decide. I got up from the table, poured coffee into my travel mug, and said, I'm off to work. I'll call the real estate agent this afternoon and see how the showing went. If he tells me you tried to sabotage the sale, I'll make the necessary calls to transfer the utility payments into your name and allow you to make the next payment on the house, which is due next Wednesday. Damn it, Robert! Can't you get it into your hard-headed head that I don't want a divorce? Can't you get it into your fat head that I don't give a shit what you want or don't want? I didn't give a shit about what you wanted when you looked me straight in the eye and told me you were going to do it and that if I didn't like it, I could get a divorce. That was the end of our marriage, Amanda. You gave me a choice, and I chose divorce. She looked at me with a grim expression on her face as I left for work. At 1 p.m., I called my friend Mark. How'd it go? She kept to herself. Was the room she was using available for viewing? Neat as a pin, even the kitchen. My brother loved the house. He almost wishes it was actually for sale. If our plan doesn't work out, it probably will. My cousin and his girlfriend are going to look at it tomorrow, and my sister and brother-in-law the day after tomorrow. After your cousin watches it, I will tell her that you called me with a proposal. Do you really think that's going to work? I hope so, but if it doesn't, I'll at least give it a try. When I got home from work, Amanda was sitting on the living room couch reading a book. When I walked in, she put the book aside and asked, "Should I make dinner, or are you going out again tonight?" "If you're going to cook for yourself, I'll stay home, but if you're going to cook just for me, I'll go out. I haven't eaten anything all day, so I'll go cook something." And she got up and headed to the kitchen. While she cooked dinner, I went down to the basement and checked the recorder I had hooked up to the phone line the day Mark put up the "for sale" sign in the yard. The only interesting call was the one she made as soon as I left for work that morning. Hello? Hi. It's me. He just left for work." "Any change?" "No, I think he's really going through with it. The realtor's bringing someone over to look at the house this morning." "I don't know why you're so upset about this. It frees you up to do what we talked about." "I don't want to do it if it's going to cost me my marriage." "I think you're all about to lose your minds. If Rob does get a divorce, you can get back together with Rudy. You almost broke his heart when you canceled the other day. He was really looking forward to taking you to the meeting. There were a couple other guys there who were also disappointed when you didn't show up. Not as disappointed as I was when our plan didn't work out. You assured me that Rob would rather give up than lose me. And I don't understand that at all. The man loves you. Everyone knows he worships the ground you walk on. He should have given in to your ultimatum." "Well, he didn't, and now I can't even get him to talk to me." "Yep. Given the tough stance he's taking, what could you say?" "I don't know, but there must be something I can say or do that will make him put a stop to it." "I hate to say it, but the only thing I can see that will work is that you promise him that this issue will never come up again. The way things are going, I don't think he'll believe me. He doesn't believe a word I say. He says he knows I lied when I told him the date story was just a bluff." "Oh, crap!" "What?" "He knows you lied because he called me and asked if I could give you a message without interfering with your date, and I told him you canceled the date to be home and talk to him." "Oh my God, what am I supposed to do now?" "I don't know if there's anything you can do, girl." "Don't say that! I can't lose Rob, I just can't! Why not? Once you're free of him, you can have all the experiences you want. Besides Rudy, I know half a dozen guys we could set you up with." "I thought you were my friend Sally, but I guess I'm wrong. It seems your only interest in me is that you have someone you can set up your single friends with who want to join your swinging group. It's not going to be me, Sally. Not ever. Not without Rob's consent, and I've finally come to terms with the fact that it's just not going to happen. He would never agree to it. Goodbye, Sally." I rewound the recorder and went back upstairs. I watched the evening news until Amanda called me in for dinner. We ate in silence, and it wasn't until Amanda got up to start cleaning up that she spoke. "I don't want a divorce, Rob. What do I have to do to get you to give up the divorce and take the house off the market?" "It doesn't matter, Amanda, because you can't do that." "How do you know that?" "Because you've had 15 years to do it, and you couldn't do it. There's no reason to believe you can do it now." "What? Put an end to this other man nonsense. The problem we face now is that you might have promised me you would do it, but I don't trust your word anymore. I can't help but trust that even if you promise to back out, and a situation arises that leads you to believe you can do it and get away with it, you will go ahead and do it. I'll always remember you saying that you should have done it while you were still keeping your looks. And then there's the fact that you already lied to me about the date." "No, Amanda, I just can't imagine that happening." "You might want to start looking for a place to live. I was talking to a real estate agent this afternoon, and the couple looking at the house seemed to really like it. He thinks they're going to make an offer." "It's just so unfair. I don't want to lose this place." "You don't have to lose it. You can always buy me out and keep the house, and how is that unfair? You're getting what you said you always wanted. Now you have the freedom to meet another man or men. You should be happy." I got up and left the table. When I got back to the house, after spending a couple hours in the Pontiac, Amanda was in her room, so I went down to the basement and checked the recorder. There was nothing interesting on it, so I rewound it and went to bed. I set my alarm for 5 and then passed out. I was up and out of the house before Amanda even left her room and stopped at the cafe for breakfast. I had had an extremely busy day and didn't have much free time to think about the situation with Amanda. That evening, I decided to have dinner somewhere out of the house, and after eating, I stopped by Bud's bar for a couple beers and a game of pool. I left at about 10:45, and when I got home, the lights were out and Amanda's car was in the garage, so I assumed she had gone to bed. I checked the recorder and found only one interesting call. Cell phone rings. Hello? Evening, girlfriend. What do you want, Sally? To get your good reputation back. How? Is there another single guy who needs someone to get him into your swinging group? Don't be like that, girlfriend. We were friends long before I met Ralph and was involved in this scene, and let's not forget that you're the one who's always prying me for more information about what Ralph and I do. Chuckles. Okay, you made your point. The reason I'm calling is to see if you can have lunch with me tomorrow. I think I have a way for you to get Rob to drop the divorce. What is it? I'll tell you over lunch. I'm still working out the finer points of it. Sarducci's at noon okay with you? I can be there. Don't panic if I get there first, and when you get there, you'll see me sitting with a guy. I'm not trying to set you up with anyone, but if my plan comes to fruition, we're going to need him. Gotta run. I'll see you at noon. I fell asleep trying to make sense of the fact that Sally was trying to help Amanda save her marriage. Sally doesn't even like me, and never has. Of course, the fact that the feeling was mutual might have had something to do with it. I was up and out of the house in the morning before Amanda got up, and I had plenty of free time during the day to ponder Sally and Amanda's lunch date. Did Sally really have an idea that would help Amanda, or was lunch just a ploy to try to get Amanda into the swinging scene? I decided to go straight home and not eat lunch at a restaurant somewhere or stop in for a beer after work. No sooner had I made that decision than I got a call from Amanda asking if I would be home for dinner, or if I would be late again. I told her I would be home around my usual time. When I got home, dinner was ready and Amanda had set it on the table. Conversation was minimal and pretty much boiled down to, please pass the mashed potatoes, or would you like some more green beans? After we ate, but before we cleared the table, Amanda slid an envelope across the table to me. When I reached for it, Amanda said, I got a call from Sally last night, and she told me that she had an idea about how I could possibly save our marriage. I met her for lunch, and she had a man from her swing group with her, but he was there as a paralegal and notary. Sally explained her idea, and I agreed with her, and Abe, the paralegal, left us and came back 20 minutes later with the document you are holding in your hands. I signed it, and he notarized my signature. All you have to do is read it and then sign where it says, I accept this agreement. What if I don't accept it? Why wouldn't you? It gives you everything you said you wanted, and then some. I opened the envelope, pulled out the document, and read it. It was essentially a legally enforceable post-nuptial agreement that stated that if Amanda violated any of the provisions of the document and it resulted in a divorce, she would leave the marriage leaving nothing but her personal property. The two main provisions were infidelity and any attempt on her part to get me to join her in sexual relations with others. I took a pen out of my shirt pocket and signed on the line that read, I accept this agreement. Amanda then said, there is one thing that is supposed to happen that the document doesn't mention. What is that? I asked. It doesn't take effect until we make love, and she started unbuttoning her blouse.